Say it loud, say it proud. The day has come, finally. Finally, The Rock has come back to the Champions League. Forget The Rock. It ain't about him tonight. Aston Villa are back in the biggest big time. We've done it. For the first time in over 40 years, Aston Villa are in either the European Cup and for the first time in its modern iteration, the Champions League. Aston Villa are a Champions League team. Next season, we could be going to the Bernabeu to see Real Madrid. We could be going to Barcelona's current stadium, the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona, or we could be going to the Allianz to play Bayern Munich, Juventus, the San Siro. I like the sound of that. AC Milan, maybe Inter, Borussia Dortmund. Maybe we could go to Paris, teach a lesson or two to a club that's just lost Kylian Mbappe. Could you have dreamt it when Jack Grealish went on that run against Rotherham, when we were, mid-table in the Championship, and then went on that 10-game winning streak after he scored? Could you have dreamt that from that moment, from that run, it would lead to a sliding doors moment, which led to us getting promoted, staying up on the last day of the season in our first time back in the Premier League with another heroic moment from Jack Grealish against West Ham. And then slowly building, we had, it didn't work out with Steven Gerrard at all. And in comes Unai Emery when we were, fifth from bottom at the time, fourth from bottom, a year and a half ago. And what does he do in his first game? He beats Manchester United 3-1. We beat Man United at home for the first time in 27 years. That is the club Aston Villa had become. That is the club I had got used to watching Aston Villa be. We didn't beat Man United at home. We always lost. Even though we played well, we'd still lose. We didn't beat Arsenal at home from about 98 to 2019. Tottenham, we had a terrible record against them as well. If you look back on it, they just beat us all the time until a couple of years ago. West Ham, we had a terrible record against. All these clubs, all these hoodoos. Manchester City, a club who just regularly walk up to us like Thanos, click their fingers and we just disappear. And what did we do? We beat them. And this season, Arsenal would have won the Premier League if Aston Villa didn't bloody exist. And what did we do? We went there during their kind of invincible late season run, where they've been remarkable, and we played one of the greatest games you'll ever see from an Aston Villa team, and we outclassed them 2-0. And that win is what's done it for us getting into the Champions League. We're a Champions League team. But it's not just that win. It's every single win that happened from our first day of the season. When I was sat there in a pub in North London watching Newcastle swamp over us 5-1. But the thing was, when I saw that, I didn't think, oh, no, I'm worried about Villa now. I'm worried that we're going to be terrible this season. I was worried about the injuries to Emi Buendia and Tyrone Mings, particularly both of them. I'm worried about how it might impact us going forward. But, we've had endless injuries this season, endless injuries, constant nagging injuries or long-term injuries, losing key players at terrible moments. We've had massive game volume. We have not got any experience of playing Europe in 16 years. We played in Europe Thursday to Sunday so regularly this season, including before the Arsenal 2-win victory. And in Europe, we got to a semi-final, our first time back in Europe in all these years. And that experience surely has to stand us in good stead for what's to come next season. The Bernabeu, Real Madrid, Jude Bellingham rubbing his hands, thinking of that celebration in front of the whole end. Well, Jude, Aston Villa's going to be ready. This ain't the Villa of old. It isn't. It's not the Villa of old. That's what I was saying. When we lost 5-1 on the first day of the season and then we lost 2 weeks later 3-0 to Liverpool away, you'd have thought the Villa of old would cave in. The Villa of old loses in Europe and doesn't win at Arsenal away a few days later. He doesn't go to West Ham away and, grind out a result, grind out a draw at a place we never do well at. We don't, we go 3-1 down against Liverpool and they bring 4 world-class substitutes on. We don't, out of nowhere, through Callum Chambers and John Duran, pull it back to 3-3 and almost win the bloody thing but for Alisson making a world-class save. But we did it because that's what we are now. This is not the Villa of old. And we're a Champions League team. And I tell you what, under Professor Unai Emery, the man who's transformed this club and become the transformative, larger-than-life character this club has desperately needed since the day Ron Saunders left more than 40 years ago. That larger-than-life sort of Shankly-esque character we've been screaming out for, what he has done for us has been remarkable. He has done an incredible job. The players have shown such extreme resilience and ability to learn. So many of these players were there during, when we were struggling to stay up. Some of them were there in the Championship. What a remarkable achievement for people like John McGinn, for Tyrone Mings, though he was injured this season, but he still was such a big part of it in the early Unai Emery era. He's still there, back behind the scenes. Ollie Watkins, who came through with Smith, Leon Bailey, Ezri Konsa, Emi Martinez, all these players who've stood up and reached the highest level they can reach. But I tell you, I've got a hole in here. That's how nervous I get. That's how tense I get. But I tell you, we have to look at this and think, this is not going to be the peak. This is not now, the thing we look back on in 20 years and go, wasn't that a great moment? Instead, we have to look at what Tottenham did 10, 11 years ago when they broke through to the Champions League and they stayed there for a fair few years, right? They've always competed for it ever since. We have to be that club now. And there's lots of clubs in the Premier League who have big resources. It's going to be really hard to do that every single season, and it's probably not going to happen every single season. But the thing is, we're there now, we've done it, and we have to think this is not the peak, it's not the end, it's the start of the journey. This is the end of the beginning. This is now the beginning of a place that we could be going where we win big trophies. Big trophies. We go far in the Champions League and dare to dream. Tottenham got to a Champions League final in 2018. Unai Emery got underdogs Villarreal. He won them a Europa League and he got them to the semi-final of the Champions League. Dare to dream what's possible. We're going to hear that theme at Villa Park next season. We're going to hear that. We're going to be playing Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, AC, Inter, PSG, Benfica, Porto, Bodo Glimt. It's all special. This is amazing. I'm just absorbing it all. I was on BBC 5 Live tonight. Dion Dublin was on there, the Tuesday night club, giving a fan reaction to it for Aston Villa. Please go listen to that. I'll post a link to it on Twitter as well, or Facebook, or below the line here when it comes available. Thank you, everyone. What a season. Thank you so much for listening and watching this season. I feel really emotional. Genuinely, it's amazing. I can't put it into words. I'm not sure Shakespeare himself could find the words. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? That's how I feel about Unai Emery right now. I love the man. I love this team. I love this club. I love everything going on behind the scenes that I'm aware of. Everything. Everything. This is the start of the journey. It ain't the end. It's the end of the beginning. This is the start of what should be, potentially, hopefully, a true glorious era. Believe in it. Believe in it. Please like and subscribe. Comment below. Up the mighty Villa.